这个功能，开拓者会更加清晰地了解自己目前正在进行哪些任务，更好地理解发生在这个世。
Dude, that is so fucking nice. That's actually really, really nice. I'm actually really going to enjoy that feature, and I know people that like to dive into lore, that people that like to dive into like the story and stuff, the fact that you can like go back and kind of just like in a sense like go back to those missions and like reread what was happening.
例如开拓任务章节、开拓序文章节和一些重要的支线章节都将汇总为一条完整
into a complete story arc. So it's basically just a timeline of everything that you've done in the game so far, from the story, from important continuations, and from other like things that might be important that regard to the main story. I think I really, really wish they did something like this in Genshin. I'm not gonna lie. If they had something that I could just go back and look and retrace and kind of just remember all of the things that happened in the main story on top of, right? And people have talked about this too. The fact that they bury some lore and stuff inside of events that are no longer available for people like me that started Genshin like years after it like first came out. Like I'm never going to be able to watch it unless I try to find it on YouTube, right? I have to go to an outside source for that. But like having it in game, I think is freaking huge. Because all of it's right there at your freaking fingertips. You don't have to go searching for it online. You don't have to go searching for it on a YouTube video or anything like that. It's all in the game. And as someone that like missed out on a lot of things that came out with the events in Genshin, stuff that talked about, you know, other characters, like where they might have come from, like all that type of lore, I wish Genshin did that. Because I personally feel like I am missing out on a lot just because I wasn't there for some of the events. But that's just me though. That's just me. So much albedo lore is buried behind event. Exactly. Remember when we first like I forget what event we were doing. All of a sudden, like, Albedo popped up. I was like, who is this guy? And you were like, oh, it's Albedo. He actually got introduced in a previous event when he first came out. And I was like, and how was I, if I were to play this game and you guys didn't tell me that, how was I supposed to know? Like, I wouldn't have known that he was a previous character from another event because he wasn't in the main story, right? I don't know. I think stuff like that, like, they really, really need to do that in Genshin so that people can be like, oh, that ties into this part of the story. Oh, that character is this. He has this type of lore that actually might play into, you know, some deeper lore further on into the game. You know, I don't know. But Genshin needs a lot of quality of life stuff. And let me tell you, I've talked to people that when I was like, yeah, I think Genshin is a great game, but they could definitely use some quality of life. They like fought me on it. They were like, we don't need quality of life updates. We don't need this. The game is fine. Like, don't touch the game. Don't touch what's not broken. And I'm like, I didn't say it was broken. I'm just saying there are things that could make it better, right? The game is good. The game is fine the way that it is, but it could be better. Why would you not want your game to be better? You just want it to continue just like dragging along the way that it is when there's so many different things that could be added onto it to make it an even better game. I don't know. I don't really understand that. Like, I'm not attacking Genshin in any sense, right? I love Genshin's story, right? Even someone that's still fairly new to it, but it doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't want just quality of life stuff. I'm not asking you to change the entire game. Just add some things, right? The reserve system for your resin, increasing the cap, right? That's not a major overhaul. That's just making it better. I don't know. But people are like, don't fix what's not broken. And I'm like, I didn't say it was broken. I said, just make it better. People are so freaking delulu. You're a Genshin defender, but it needs some stuff like downloading old events or something. Absolutely, right? I would love to go back as someone that didn't play the first 2 years of Genshin. I would love to go back to do some previous events. I would love it. I want to go back and do it, but there isn't an option to do that. Genshin stands are, yeah, that's what I said. They're a bit delulu. Sorry, but in my opinion, Star Rail is doing things Genshin should be doing, and it's sad because Genshin came out long before Star Rail. Yeah, it's improving faster than Genshin ever has. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's ever gonna go be extinct, right? Genshin is still a really, really big like breadwinner. Like it's still raking in a ton of money for Hoyo. And I don't think it's ever gonna go extinct, right? I just think it's hard for newer folks coming in to stay attached in a sense, right? For me, I've been a very casual person in Genshin. I don't grind out things. I've been doing the story when they come out. I might level up some characters. I might do some side things, right? But I think when it comes to retention, it's kind of hard because like there's so much, but there's nothing to go back to. Especially events, especially things that deal with lore, stuff like that. But like I said, there is nothing wrong with Genshin. There are things that just could be better. That's all. That's all. And people are seeing it with Star Rail, and that's why you have the debate. You have like this fight going on that like Genshin could never, right? You know, Honkai Star Rail is better, you know, blah blah blah. And that's why you have like the two sides, because I feel like Genshin players at times feel like they're a little bit jaded because they're not getting the stuff that like Star Rail is. But I mean, I feel like Genshin's just doing it to themselves, you know? But that, I don't know. People are too tribalistic about this stuff. Yeah, it's true. HSR also has the third to draw from and not just Genshin. It's hard to excuse the lack of stuff on Genshin when the third, oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Hi, Nero! Wait, Star Rail is being used as the testing ground for Genshin, and Genshin is unique with that one-click expedition feature that they added the last patch. I still don't even know what that feature is. I don't know. I know that they talked about that one-click thing, but I was like, I don't really actually know what that does. Not me with an untouched Fontaine still in there. Oh shit. Are you ever gonna go in there? Asking for improvements is a fair criticism, but somehow the stands take that as an attack. No, and that's the thing, right? It's I don't think anyone's saying that the game is broken. No one is saying that the game needs to like have a complete overhaul. Like no, it definitely does not need an overhaul. But yeah, there are things that could just be better. That's all. That's all. You've been playing Genshin since launch and you loved a feature to be able to at least rewatch cutscenes, if not replay the story without rewards. Yeah, that would be cool too. Just kind of as like a refresher, right? Just like, oh yeah, I remember that happened. Oh yeah, I forgot that happened. Stands are usually annoying regardless of IP fandom, whatever. Oh, that is true. It does not matter. There are some stands that are just on one end that are too extreme, and then there's like everybody else. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. The one thing I desperately want is Endgame, but they specifically said they can add more Endgame, but it might cause stress to the current player. Oh, for Genshin? I mean, what would you consider Endgame, though? For Genshin? Like, what in terms of Endgame are you looking for, I guess? I will say that Genshin's story improved so much recently. Fontaine has been the best so far. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I love Genshin's story, right? Genshin's story has brought me to tears many, many times, right? The writing for the story is amazing. The game is really good. But again, it's just, there are things that could just, I don't know. I feel like I'm just like talking in circles, but I don't know if it's Endgame, but it would be nice if they give Genshin its own version of simulated Elysian Realm. Oh, a simulated. Okay. So, oh yeah, because Abyss is kind of like MOC, right? Where you kind of have like the multiple teams that go in. Star Rail also needs these changes for Genshin. You can clear all of Genshin content with only 4-star characters. In Star Rail, there's a thing called power creep, and they move in that other direction already. Combat specifically, I feel like in Genshin, we built these characters, but the only combat-based endgame is that there's Spiral Abyss and it's doable in like 10 minutes. That's true, yeah. If you have a really cracked out team for Spiral Abyss, right? And it's the same thing with MOC too. If you have a really, really cracked out, like, just team that you can just send in there to crush everything, yeah, it'll be really, really easy. I've only done Abyss to get my free Xiangling, which I think was like, what, floor 4, 3, or something like that. I think that's the only time I ever touched Abyss. Oh, I love Genshin Combat, but there's no content to push our characters and our accounts limits. I mean, and that's the tough thing too, right? Well, no, because Star Rail does have that. They do have the different types of simulated. You have your regular simulated, then you got Swarm, you got Golden Gears, right? And that's technically like a quote unquote harder version where you really challenging your characters and your teams. Yeah, I guess I could see who said it that that having like a simulated in Genshin, especially something like Swarm, right? Having a very difficult type thing in Swarm, incorporated in Genshin, I think would be kind of cool. So that you're not just, so you don't just have like Abyss, right? And you're just like, okay, my 2 teams went through, they crushed everything, good job. But that you have one team, and maybe like, you know, a couple of buffs that can help you through the runs, like you do like in Simulated. Having like a path that you can go down. I could see. I don't know how they would incorporate it though, but I that type of gameplay would be kind of cool in Genshin. Yeah, yep. I'm still so shocked that there's no multiplayer endgame content in Genshin yet. I think it's because they don't want people to go in and just absolutely smash everything because they're like getting a whale to come in and their busted character is just going to just defeat everything. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like when you go into 14 and you go do something unsynced and then all of these level 90 characters are just completely smashing the boss and like I don't know, the level 30 character that's in there like doesn't even do anything, just like don't die. I mean, even if you do die, everyone else still carries you type of thing. I feel like that's what would happen in Genshin, right? Me specifically, I would 100% get people to come in and co-op and be like, help me with this thing. And I would be dead on the ground and everyone else would be clearing the content for me. I think that's the only reason why. Because people would take advantage of the fact that they could get some really busted characters in there. And then people would just get carried through the content. And then it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's just me. That's just my train of thought. I think they said they wouldn't add stuff that is too hard because players complained. It might be a meme about Genshin players getting anxiety. Dude, you know what I want to know? Do they ever release, like, you know, when people do surveys for the games, do they ever release, like, just a summarized type of report of what people had said in the surveys? Do they ever do that? I'm curious to see what people say about stuff for the game. And like what they are actually saying in these surveys. That they're not doing these like quality of life stuff, they're not doing the end game things. Like I'm wondering if people are legitimately writing in these surveys, don't do this stuff. I don't know. That's the thing. I wish I knew. That'd be kind of cool. Imagine a 14 raid, but with Genshin. I mean, can't you already do that with like some of the bosses anyway? Like when you do some of like the daily bosses, wouldn't that kind of be like a quote unquote raid when you can still go in with co-op? Honkai back there in Endgame is more PvP like, where there is a leaderboard to compare scores. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I don't play Impact Third, so I all of these things that you guys are telling me, I'm taking your word for it. The simple way of putting it is, Captain level 80 ascended is Endgame. Captain level 80? Meanwhile, you kill the team while they're trying to carry you. Yeah. Another thing I feel like Star Rail has over Genshin are the characters. We get more backstory on the characters more and we connect with them better. Not to mention the 4 stars actually feel important story and gameplay wise. In my opinion, Genshin focus more on 5 stars and it feels like 4 stars barely or if not at all matter in Genshin, but that's just your opinion. That's true. I feel like there is a big emphasis on their 5-star characters. Do you have hangout? I totally forgot. Do you have hangout events for all characters in Genshin and not just like 5 stars? Or is hangout events just strictly for 5-star characters? Oh no, not at all. Oh, okay. Only 4 stars. Oh, okay. I've never done a hangout event in Genshin. That's the thing. I've only done like character story stuff. I've never done a hangout. You want Chevy to put you in the ground. Oh, Jesus Christ. The quote of them being afraid to add endgame Genshin due to being afraid they'll add stress to players is a legit quote. Wait, a legit quote from who though? From like Hoyo? I think they put the quality of life suggestion on Genshin to HSR. You know what? I think they did. I think they accidentally deleted that question out of the survey in Genshin and they put it in Honkai Star Rail. That's why there's no quality of life stuff. Holy shit. Hangouts are 4 stars, story quests are 5 stars, some rare exceptions for support. Oh, okay. Oh, that is true. There were articles over a year, so it's a game. If you don't want to do that type of content because it's anxiety inducing, then don't do it. What the heck? It's like if someone complained about going into an ultimate fight in 14, then don't do it. If you don't want to do the ultimate fight, then don't do the ultimate fight. Jesus Christ. The stress thing is probably from feedback based on Abyss, I'd imagine. Oh my god. That's the thing. Like, why do other people have to suffer at the sake of a handful of other people that are like, I don't want this type of content. Okay, but then that content's not for you, right? Go do your casual stuff. Go do the non-anxiety inducing things, right? If people want harder endgame stuff, let them have it, right? Let them have their savages and their ultimates and, you know, all of that stuff. Go do your casual, normal raids. I don't know why other people have to suffer at the sake because of someone else was like, I don't do hard stuff. I only do soft, flaccid stuff. And that's why I don't want any of that content in my game. Like, bro, come on. Chevy got more character development from the one quest than the mommy button ever will. If you tie rewards to an activity, then yeah, I can imagine it becomes stressful. Okay, that's true. That's true. But still, even like in ultimate raids, you get a nice shiny weapon, you get a totem from all of that stuff. That's well earned, right? If you want that stuff, you want the shiny weapon, you want the shiny rewards, then do the content. Do the content. If you don't want to do the content because it's anxiety inducing, then don't do it. Go grind something else. It's just like Genshin became more chill games, so probably the majority of players just voted no on it. Dude, bro, that... I never understand that. I will never understand that. It is difficult. I will say it is difficult to please both sides of the spectrum, right? People that like their casual things and then people that like the hard endgame stuff. It is very, very difficult to please both sides, right? And we've been seeing it in the 14 community, right? More people want ultimates. All the hardcore raiders, they want more ultimates. They got the Criterion dungeons and savages of that. They got a lot of stuff. They're trying to balance that out. They're also trying to balance it so that the normal casual folks can also get some content too. It's very, very tough. I can imagine as a dev trying to like balance between the two. It's probably very, very frustrating. But still, if you don't want to do that content, don't do it. Let other people have their fun. The end. Whatever. Okay. You wrote in the HSR survey that the new permanent content was too easy and to make it hard. Why? Why would you do that? I hope your survey gets lost or accidentally deleted. I mean, if Abyss had an easy mode, it would still allow you to collect the rewards. You switch to that mode. Oh yeah, having different modes, different modes would be cool. So you could actually up the ante on the difficulty. Ah. Yeah, so for instance, if you did like an easy mode in Abyss, you would still get the same rewards, but let's say like less, right? You would still get it, but not as much. You could do the normal, you would get the normal amount of rewards, and if you did the hard content, you get the rewards, but a little bit more because you did the harder content. They could definitely do that. That could be a thing. Have your different modes, everyone still gets the same rewards, but the quantity of the rewards is going to vary between them. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Meanwhile, you can't 36-star Abyss and 12-star Pure Fiction. You still have to autoplay your way through Golden Gears. Let's try. I don't think we autoplayed the last... I don't think we autoplayed MOC 12. I don't think we did. Well, grind is also a bad thing. The moment a repetitive activity becomes a grind, that's bad. That's true. Which is why, and I've vented about this before, the fact that materials are locked to specific days of the week in Genshin blows my mind. I don't know if their intent is to try to get people to come back every day so that they can grind those mats, but you're actually making me not want to do that. I don't know why you would lock that stuff to Monday, Friday, and Sunday. So now I have to wait between Monday and Friday to go back into that domain to grind for those mats. Oh, but you should be grinding mats for the other ones on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. You know, you should be getting mats for these things. No, let me go into whatever domain I need to get those mats so that I can upgrade my stuff. I hate that system. That's the one thing I wish they did change. I wish they would remove the specific day lockouts for that stuff. One of the weekly fights in Honkai Big Third has a buffed mode that makes the fight easier, so you don't get as much points, but the rewards that matter are within which are easier. Yeah, and that's doable. I feel like that also takes away from the risk reward feeling too. Imagine doing ultimate instead of savage, and instead you get 2 savage weapons as opposed to an ultimate weapon. I see what you mean. That was a stupid system design. Yeah. I honestly thought that they thought that was more for just like, we want you guys to log in every day so that you can get your mats, your leveling mats, but we're going to restrict it to certain days. And it's like, dude, what if I forget to log in one day and it's the day that I needed the mat? It's happened so many times. I would log into Genshin. I'm like, I'm going to work on Nuvi today. I'm going to get his mats to level him up. I look at what day, whatever day that the freaking domain is, and it's not even that day. It was like yesterday. And now I have to wait 2 more days for that domain to open back up. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I hate it. It's the same reason why Welcome requires that you log in daily. But I feel like that one is not as bad though, right? Like that one, I don't know. I feel like the Welcome logins aren't as bad compared to being locked out to specific days for mats that you need for characters. That's just me. 100% it was their way to artificially extend gameplay back to 1.0 where there was barely anything. And I wish they would change that though, right? We're all the way in freaking 4.0 in Genshin. Like, we can absolutely start making some adjustments, right? Absolutely. Let's do it, Genshin. Come on. Grinding became a second job. That's what I do. I don't do it anymore. I don't do it. Even with like the relics in 14, right? I will log in. I will do my normal and trials to get whatever tomestones I need, and then I log out. And then over time, I will accumulate tomestones so that I can get my next step of the relic weapon. I'm not freaking about the grinding life. Not right now. No. I have no time for that. I am so freaking busy. I don't have time to grind that shit. But in all fairness, Welkins cost all of $5. If you log in every day, you get far more value out of it if you paid for it. True. They definitely gonna change that. Yep. I don't know. That's what I'm just saying. I know some people are really, really into the grindy type stuff. Like that's just how they play. And good on you, but man, I cannot do that anymore. I used to. I used to be all about, like, I got into a game and I got super grindy with it, but man, the burnout happened so fast. So fast. So that's why I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to play the game at my pace, but I feel like Genshin kind of hinders that because my pace is also not their pace, right? If I'm being locked out to certain days where I can't level up characters, it is no longer my pace. I am now on their timeline, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But hi, Alpha, how you doing? I don't want to talk about the fact that an entire tier of relic weapons had no content and just cost tomestones. Hey, they're already gonna give us stuff for the freaking Dawn Trail, okay? They said they're gonna give us another zone, right? Honestly, I'm not complaining. I think it was kind of just like a restart for them too, because they were catching up on a lot of stuff when COVID hit. And I think right now that this is like bottom of the totem pole. Not important. Not important. And that's why they're just like, you know what? Just tomestones. Just deal with it. Tomestones. You get some really cool weapons. That's it. That's it. Grab them by the balls with that 800% value pack? Absolutely not. Nope. Nope. I don't even grind. I just open the game, see what's on that day. If my mat is any good, you grind that. If not, you just kill 4 bosses and leave. Oh, yeah, that's doable too. That is doable too. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. True, and I'm happy for it. And I did complain when we had to go back to Heavenward Farm because yo, that sucked. I hated that. I was like, I don't like this at all. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Having to get all those like memory clusters or whatever that shit was. Oh no. No. Bajra could freaking go kick rocks.